Hello world! Today was Wednesday, January 10th, 2024, and today I'm going to talk about something that is one of my favorite really good things, and that is used books. I have four reasons that I think used books are really good that I'm going to talk about, and then I just grabbed like a handful of my used books that I noticed right away, and I'm gonna kind of talk about why I think I'm gonna try to justify my four reasons by showing you these books. Number one, they are cheaper. I don't know how authors or publishers feel about this, but as a consumer, as you and I, this is probably something that matters. Lots of times I end up buying an audio version of a book that I really like anyway, so they're getting my money twice if I bought it new. But regardless of that, one practical reason why used books are really good is because they're less expensive. And if you like to read a lot of books, it can be very pricey to like buy a lot of books. And yeah, so if you want to own books and gosh, I feel like if I was doing the vlog, I would just restart this because it's such a mess. But we're not doing the vlog anymore. We're doing this. Used books are really good because they're cheaper than the original sticker price. That's enough. We can understand that, right? Number two, used books. When you're buying used books, you can get books that are no longer in print. There are books that I own that were printed decades and decades ago. They never got a rerun. There's no other way to get them. And if you are only buying new books, I know people don't go into bookstores really anymore, but if you're going into a bookstore looking for something, there's no way you're going to be able to get a new book. If you're going on Amazon, they want you to buy the new books. If you're going on any platform that's selling new things, publishers, authors, the retailers, they want you to buy the new things. It's more difficult to find older books, but they're sometimes just filled with really great information, really great I don't know, for me, really good designs, really good like historic photos, things like that. So these are the types of books that I'm usually buying. And if you start looking at used books, I think you will be surprised at the things that you can find that you maybe wouldn't have thought of. And I have a couple in my pile here that I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, so number one, they're cheaper. Number two, you can get access to more interesting things sometimes, but just in general, you can get access to information that's no longer available new. Number three, they have more character. I'm going to give a little tangent here. I can't think of the right word. Is it a simile? Is it a metaphor? Is it a parallel? Whatever. The first mechanical watch that I owned, that I own, is my grandfather's mechanical watch that he wore. It's an Elgin from Elgin, Illinois, that his wife, my grandma, bought him when they were like super young. And she worked at a jewelry store. She bought it. When he died, he told my grandma, the grandkids get the watches. I don't know who else got a watch. I kind of think I'm the only one that ended up getting one for one reason or another. But I got the watch that she bought him. And I look at this watch and it's so beat up and it's so, it's gold plated, but the gold plating has wore off in a bunch of places. It had one of those stretch bands on it and some of the stretches are messed up, and the crystal is not sapphire like new watches. It's mineral, or it's acrylic or something, but it's so beat up and it's so scratched up. And when I had the watch, I was dumb. I got it when I'm, I don't know, 18 or 19 or whatever. And I just put it in my lockbox. I put it in my little safe, my fireproof safe, so they would always be okay. And I just thought that it was dead, because every watch that I had owned before had a battery in it. Like, of course I knew that mechanical watches existed, but it just didn't cross my mind. I was like, oh, it just needs a battery. I'm never gonna wear it, so let's just throw it in the box. Whenever I started getting into watches a few years ago, I went and looked at that watch and I wound it up and I put it to my ear, and I literally started crying because I could hear the mechanics ticking. And I know that at some point my grandpa put it up to his ear too and listened to that watch ticking and all of the scuffs and all of the scrapes and all of the damage that he did to it by wearing it every day. And I'm sure that it was never serviced, so I don't really do anything with it. But sometimes I wind it up and just listen to it because it has that, it has that heartbeat in it. And there's this, it was on his wrist, all of the character on it, and now it's mine. And now I have it and all of the marks and the scrapes, and I would never have it polished. I would never have the crystal replaced, none of that, because all of that are the marks that he left on it. Let's bring it back. Used books are not going to be in pristine condition. I have some of them. I have one book that I'm going to show you that's almost 40 years, no, that's like 44 years old, and it is in mint condition. Like it looks like it was hermetically sealed or something. It's so perfect. But for the most part, they're going to have dings, they're going to have scrapes, they're going to have dog-eared corners, they're going to have, little things that are imperfections. And if you're like me, you probably take really good care of your books. One time I loaned one of my friends a book, and she said she said she was afraid to like open the book all the way because I hadn't even cracked the spine on it. And that's cool, that's fine too. But there's just something about the character of a used book that makes it feel, I don't know, there's just more to it. The same way that like my grandpa, he wore that watch and scratched it all up. Someone spent hours of their life looking at this book, reading this book, handling this book, and at some point it mattered enough to them to open it up and sit and read it and get the dents and dings and folded pages. And it's just, there's more character to a used book. Maybe that's not something that appeals to you, but to me, I don't know. There is some connection to the past, even if it's a complete stranger. Obviously, it's not the same as if it's someone that you care about had owned the book. But there's just more character to this thing because someone else handled it. I don't know. It's like the book has like more soul because someone else had used it first. Last reason. And I know you know this, used books smell better. If you take a book and you smell the pages of a used book, it just smells different than a new book. A new book smells like, ink and glue. A used book, I don't know, it can smell like anything. It's like, I know that you have smelled an old book before, don't deny it, and they smell better. A used book smells better. That's reason enough to buy it. Okay, let me just go through my little pile here. This is a book you can't get. See that, and someone even stuck the little sticker on there. And for me, I look at these things and I like to see the typography and stuff. But like, this is a book, Neon Nevada. And like I said, these are just the books that I grabbed. But like, you can't buy a new book with these old photos. Like, first of all, someone couldn't make this book. The person with this, they went around and took the photos that are in this book. These photos are from 1978, almost 2010. This book must not be too old, but it is used. Anyway, let me check. This book is from 2011. Okay. But yeah, so stuff like this, could you get this new? Not this book, but could you get a similar book that goes around and shoots photos in Las Vegas or Nevada? Sure, but there wouldn't be the connection that those people have, and their father, their relatives took some of those photos and stuff like that. There wouldn't be that connection and that goes into that book. You just couldn't get that new. You could get a new version of that, but you can't get that book. This one, I found it in an antique store, and I would never have thought to go look up British trademarks of the 1920s and 1930s. Who would do that? But there is so much cool just nonsense in here. Every page has 2 to 4. Look at these fish. Every page has 2 to 4 trademarks on it, and it's just so cool to go through and see these. And like, this book is nearly in perfect condition. I don't know, someone wrote in it with a pencil, and then there's there's a mark where the back printing rubbed off. But like, that's the kind of stuff that makes this feel like it has more to it than just a brand new book. This is my favorite book. If I could only choose one design book, it wouldn't be a design book. It would be this book. I don't even know what it is. Dictionary of Symbolism. It's a book that was written in German and then translated to English. And he's got a bunch of other references. The author references, you see a lot of the same citations from books from like the 1500s and things like there's a lot of citations, so it would be a good reference book, like a good place to like find something and then be able to go find other books based off that. But gosh, this is my favorite book. My favorite original was 1989. This one is translated 1992. So this book is, 1992, 32 years old. This book is so beat up. It's got stickers that were like peeled off of it. It's got a sticker on the back. Like the edges are dog-eared. There's a marker on it. But I have read through this book so much, and I used to just read it A to Z. Now it's kind of like, if I want to go see like a specific thing, I'll go look at it, or you can just flip through and look at the pictures. But like, I don't know. There's just something, maybe you're not into symbols because you're not a designer or something, you know what I mean? Like maybe there's something that'd be more important to you. If you're like my mom is into quilts, maybe there's some used quilting book that you can't get now, but you could get it used. And I don't know, I think that if you only buy new books, you might be missing out on like your favorite book. I got 3 of these. I think I have some others laying around somewhere. These are Dover books. Lots of times you can get these exact books on archive.gov, and it's because these books are actually reprints of books from hundreds of years ago. Some of these books, Daniel Sheets I don't know if he's one or not, but like some of these books, okay, yeah, so this one is from 1937. So if you go on there and some of these copyrights have run out and stuff like that, technically I think this one probably hasn't, but some of the other books, if a book is 200 years old, you can download it online for free if somebody scanned it. But sometimes it's still nice to have like the physical version, and there's no reason to buy a new version of this. I think I got this book for like $3. Yeah, so these are some lace books, some lattice design books. Okay. These are perfect examples of used books to buy. I had these cartoon drawing books when I was little, and I got this one in 4th grade, the Simpsons cartooning book. There's like 4 pages in it. No, not really. There's like, they're not even numbered. Yeah, there's basically no pages in this. You can see there are brochures that are bigger than this book. But I had this book when I was in 4th grade, and I don't know what happened to it. I moved, I went to college, I moved to Las Vegas. And I just wanted to have this book again. And I don't know, maybe you can buy this one new, maybe not, but owning it used feels more like there was 100% some little kid that got this at the same time that I did, and this was their book. And it feels more related to the past. It feels more like I almost own my original because it's used. SpongeBob, this one's actually got a little more to it, and it's a little more detailed. But same story. This one was a library book. A lot of my things are library books. This is Akron Summit County Public Library, so I'm assuming that's Ohio. But, learn how to draw Patrick Star, and there's different versions of it. What's inside the book doesn't matter, but this being used, there was a bunch of little kids, there was a bunch of, I don't know, people that wanted to draw SpongeBob, and they opened this and they drew the pictures, and I don't know, there's more life to it. So way cheaper than buying it new, if you even can buy it new. And just so much more character. This is an absolute freaking gem of a used book. This one came from a library too. Stanislaus County Library. Don't know where that is. But this, when it was new, was a $40 book. I think I got this for, I don't know, $18 or something like that. This is like the big boy version of the one I got in 4th grade. This book has every character, and it's so broke down, and it gives you all of the details. It gives you like different expressions. Like, this is basically the book that you would give to a new hire who is going to work at The Simpsons. That's basically what this is was created for, The Simpsons Handbook. But I stumbled upon this when I was looking through used bookstores online for this. So I found this, and that led me to this. And this book is insane. If you looked in my sketchbook, you would see that I've drawn, I've worked through this book and drawn a bunch of those characters. And this is a perfect example of one that like smells awesome. But it's got like the binding on it. It's got the wear on it. I don't have the cover for it. But gosh, this is a book you can't get new. And I don't know. I love this book. This is one of my newer ones. I think I got that maybe a year and a half ago. These are my actual newest ones. These are all used, and you can look on, some of those didn't come from Amazon, but on Amazon, they'll say like new condition, very good, these types of things. Lots of times I buy the one that's very good just because it's usually half the price of the like new ones, but it's so pristine. This book is from 1980. I have a cover for it. It's actually from a Las Vegas publisher, but this was a little, see, this is like the cool stuff you don't get in a new book. They put this sticker inside of it because they moved from California to Las Vegas. And you can see right there, that's where the sticker was. And then they put this sticker on top of it. I'm just using it as like a bookmark. But I don't know. I don't think you can get this book new. I mean, it's 44 years old at this point. But look at this book. Like, if you, I don't know. I just don't. I get so excited about these books, and this is the one that I was talking about yesterday, where like I look at these pictures and I'm reading the stories about them, and I'm just so inspired and so overwhelmed by just by the fact that someone made these machines, and you can only get this in a 44-year-old used book. This is the other thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to finding the books that are out of print. It goes hand in hand, is that if you want something very niche, like you can get, I have the 3rd edition of this. There's 6 of them. I don't know why they keep making them. Maybe there's more information that they keep wanting to include. But like, this one's only got 1 edition. I think the Parades only has 1 edition. But if you're into like something super niche, you're probably gonna have a better job finding it in a used book. And especially when they're super old, it's like this snapshot in time, and I don't know. So all of these 3 are actually my newest ones. I got these, I don't know, a few months ago. They're all slot machines. One of them you could buy new. These you can't. And I don't know. I really think even if you only want books because they're cheaper, used books are really good. Used books, you can get access to information and knowledge and photos that you can't get in new books, that you can't get on the internet. They have more character. You saw everything I just described. And lastly, they smell better than new books. That's my really good for today. Used books. I'll see you tomorrow.